Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to share with you all a free Reaper template for progressive death metal. You can find all the links to great things in the description below, the free project itself, and a bunch of other plugins and impulses that may be useful to you. Before starting, please subscribe to my YouTube channel for free, leave a like and a comment below. This is a very low-budget channel, but I'm planning to make new interesting content in the near future. So your free subscription really helps my channel to grow consistently. Thank you. Also, the section of the song you're going to listen to in a second is taken from my band's Hybrid Practice second album Realignment, and the song name is Gates of Hayayel. You can buy and listen to all my music on my BandCamp page. I'm going to make you listen to the full final result first. If you want to skip back and forth and navigate through the video, just use the timecode stamps below. Reaper is a very good DAW. It has everything already installed to make your song sound great. You just need a little bit of practice and trial and error to find the sweet spots for each sound. Enough said, let's start talking about the drum track right away. There are tons of free plugins and tons of different ways to get a good drum sound from your metal mix. Keep in mind that in this video tutorial I won't go into great detail about every component of the drum kit. I want to keep things as simple as possible, so I created a single stereo track into which I inserted the fantastic MT Power Drum Kit 2 free, set up as you can see from the images. Next, in the effects chain, I added an already existing multi-band compressor in Reaper, the famous Ria X Comp, which is one of our most valued allies. I used the super solid bass preset, Nice Up to Mids, which pretty much solves almost all of our initial problems, especially the heavy rumble of the toms and kick drum. Next, I added a parametric equalizer, Ria EQ Free, already existing into Reaper, with the basic 11-band rock snare preset. Guys, remember that you can change these settings as you like, so I encourage you to experiment as much as you can. Clearly, by changing drum samples, the resonance frequencies of the various snares, kick, toms and so on will also change, so remember to try different settings. Let's move on to the bass, practically the glue of the entire low end of our project, which however must be managed well. otherwise it risks mixing up the entire flavor of our song badly. Even in this case, there are dozens of free and paid plugins which allow you to obtain beautiful bass sounds in the blink of an eye, so you can indulge yourself and do as many tests as you want. My classic approach for electric bass tracks is to record a DI track at a very low volume and gain, as little as possible, and then duplicate it by creating a stack to implement a sort of parallel compression of the low frequencies. In practice, a track called clean bass will manage the mid-low frequencies in a clean way. The other track, however, is very distorted and will handle the medium-high frequencies. Remember to set this distorted track to a very low volume, otherwise it risks ruining the complete mix. The Clean Bass DI track has the fantastic free SHB1 from Ignite Amps as amp simulator, with a relatively low amount of gain. You can use it with or without cab simulation, I almost use it without. Followed by Recomp, set with the Rock Driving Bass preset. It is very useful for managing to keep the low end of the track at bay, which otherwise mixes everything up, especially when it coincides with the kick hits. Also followed by the same RIA EQ with the pre-existing basic 11-band rock bass preset. The other track, however, is the DI bass with a huge amount of distortion. As the first effect of the chains, there is always the free SHB1 by Ignite Amps, this time set in a much more drastic way with a lot of gain. Next, the same Recomp preset to keep the most annoying frequencies at bay with the rock bass preset. Then, after that, the real magic, so to speak, that is our friend RIA EQ with a very bad high-pass filter at around 500 Hz to eliminate all the low frequencies. Incredible, but true, try it for yourself. The two bass tracks composed like this really sound wonderful. We finally get to the part you like most about my videos, where I show you the totally free guitar plugins for metal, in this case suitable for a progressive death song. First of all, to have excellent sound, you must subscribe to my YouTube channel for free. It is now known throughout the world that whoever subscribes to my YouTube channel produces better music. Just kidding, guys. Then, in order, you can get very good results by double-tracking your guitar riffs. In practice, you have to record each riff twice, trying to play very precisely, and then divide the tracks and pan them one hard left and the other one hard right. Both mono tracks, which should always be called with distinct names, such as rhythm guitar left and rhythm guitar right, group them into a single stereo bus, called rhythm guitar bus, for example. Let's see in detail the various effects for each track, starting from the mono rhythm guitar left. First of all, the legendary free TSB1 booster by Ignite Amps, truly one of the best boosters around. As always, set the drive to 0 and the tone and level quite high. Then the free amp simulator. Today I wanted to use the very strong Crank V2 by Nembrini Audio. I didn't want to exaggerate with the game, I recommend you do the same too. Afterwards, the free NetIR Impulse Loader, also by Ignite Amps, into which I loaded one of my favorite free impulses from the Pit collection. I leave you the various links in the description below, also for the best free impulses for metal. Guys, one important thing. Be careful that if you use NetIR, you are using a dual IR loader. So, basically, remember to set the balance, high and low pass, and also the resonance. Even for the rhythm guitar right, things remain very similar. What changes, essentially, are the amp and cab simulator settings. Again, you are free to use whatever setting you prefer. And we arrive at the rhythm guitar bus, where essentially we will only need two basic but extremely important elements. The first ever is RIA X Comp, that is a free multi-band compressor that we will use to tame the low end. Basically, whenever the guitar tracks produce low frequencies at high volume, it will automatically lower the power of the output signal. Imagine, for example, some very aggressive palm muting parts, where the sound could be very muddy. Thanks to the multiband compressor, the guitars will have a much more defined and pleasant sound and character. Finally, it's always good practice to use an EQ to eliminate anything that's too quiet and anything that's too loud. Essentially, we only keep open what oscillates between approximately 100 and 10,000 Hz. For the lead guitar parts, unless you want to create great Iron Maiden or Bellecore style harmonizations, it is sufficient to use only one mono track with the same effects as the rhythm guitars, but with some differences in the settings of the various effects. We will always have the Ignite Amps Booster TSB1 with these settings, followed by Amp and Cab Simulator with these other settings. Next, a free digital delay effect. I used this plugin from Dead Duck software. They are very well made. If you use them, you can't go wrong. This mono track is then grouped inside a stereo track called Lead Guitars Bus, where we will add other effects as in the case of Rhythm Guitars Bus, but with different settings of course. First of all, Reacomp with Sustain Guitar Solo preset, which from the name suggests is perfect for our needs. Then an equalizer, which will basically cancel out everything below 300 Hz. Those very boomy frequencies are not needed for solo parts that are played with high-pitched notes.
My weapon for the fight, mine is good. Imperial, my weapon for the fight, mine is good. And betrayal.
Let's get to the vocal tracks and then, disclaimer, guys, I'm not a singer nor a vocalist, so take what I'm about to tell you with a grain of salt, okay? Normally, for the mixing and mastering of my songs, I always use more than one vocal track, recorded at different times, creating a sort of stack of mono voices, which will then be sent to a vocal bus, exactly as happens for rhythm guitars. In this case, for pure simplicity, I'll put a single mono track penned at the center, which will then go into the vocal bus. The effects chain will have an EQ at the beginning set with the wide male vocal preset, which helps a lot to clean the most unpleasant frequencies of the human voice. Keep in mind, however, that when you have to equalize a growl or scream voice, there is always a large component of white noise and brown noise. So, in short, you have to rely a lot on what you hear rather than what you see on the screen. The golden rule is always the same. If it sounds good, then it's good. Next, I added a soft clipper limiter to give the voice as much anger as possible. The real magic happens in the vocal bus and its effects. First of all, always re-EQ as a parametric equalizer. followed by an exciter, which is not always essential, but I like to add it because it greatly improves the rendering of some consonants. Then the single band compressor with the legendary aggressive vocal preset, which is practically perfect for metal vocals. Then the fantastic Dragonfly Hall Reverb, one of the 3 free programs in the Dragonfly suite, which sound really good and in this case help a lot to give a sense of depth to the voice. Having a unique vocal track, I decided to also add a stereo enhancer, which basically makes the vocal track much wider and wider. Following again a soft clipper limiter, which helps us fill with anger all those words said too softly by the singer. And finally, the fantastic digital delay of Dead Duck software, really useful for filling all the few remaining empty parts in the vocal track.
For the fight, might is good. Imperial, my weapon. For the fight. Awaken the mind. Training, might is good. Protection.
Finally, the most important thing of all is still missing, which I'm sure many of you tend to forget, or rather underestimate, the master boss. So far, all the tracks sound great, but there's still something missing that makes the dynamics of our song better. In this case, I chose the free TDR Kotelnikov plugin by Tokyo Dawn Labs, which is essentially a compressor suitable for final mastering, which will act as a glue between all the tracks of the song. I recommend not exaggerating with the compression ratio and the subsequent makeup gain. Sometimes just 2 dBs of gain reduction are enough to obtain amazing results. Following the exciter again, because obviously the previous compressor leveled everything, including the best frequencies of the voice. Then re-EQ to clean the low end and high end well. And lastly, as per tradition, a limiter, which is the real jewel in the crown of all effects. I use Real Limit, which works perfectly if you don't overdo the settings. My advice, once again, is to rely on your ears, so lower the limiter threshold slowly until the volume increases. But as soon as you hear that there is distortion, go back. It takes time and a bit of experience, but little by little you will get excellent results, I'm sure. Now, keep in mind that there are tons and tons of free and paid plugins out there. This is just a simple example of a totally free metal mixing project in Reaper for a progressive death metal song. I'm planning to make more and more content like this, so don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for free. This is the only real way that helps my channel grow organically. I like rewarding people who subscribe to my YouTube channel, so here's why I'm sharing these free projects with you all, guys. You can download everything from the links in the description below. Thank you very much for watching this video until the end. Stay tuned as I'm planning to release more and more content. Bye guys, thank you again.